I go to therapy. And my therapist is a sweetie pie. She really is. She's just a sweet lady. And I'm talking to her, and she's like, how was your last week? And I'm like, well, I mean, it was fine. She said last Monday I started feeling real down, like real run down. I had the flu like 3 weeks ago, and it was fine, whatever. Nothing to cry about. But starting Monday, I started just feeling really exhausted, and I take my kids to school and come home and sleep till like 1 in the afternoon, which is not normal for me, and I'm trying to get the hell up and do shit. And by Thursday, I woke up and my chest hurt so freaking bad on Thursday. It was like taking more than about a half of a breath really caused my chest a lot of pain, and I'm sitting there going, everything's fine. And as the day progressed, I had this little warm feeling come upon me and go, you better get this shit checked out. It's probably pneumonia. And I'm sitting there. I'm just like, this sucks. I know how backed up the emergency rooms are, and I like don't even want to be a burden on people, but this is painful. This is actually scaring me. It's like really hurting my heart. So I ended up going to the hospital on Thursday afternoon. I got there at 4:44 actually. But they did a chest x-ray on me, and they're like, oh yeah, both of your lungs are pretty fucked up looking. They did a bunch of blood work and ended up checking my heart function and making sure I didn't have whatever signs of a blood clot. And they went and checked out a specific muscle function, and they're like, yeah, as far as we can tell, your heart's all right, but we're gonna give you a IV antibiotic to get this party started for you, and put me on some gnarly antibiotics, make me nauseous. Thank goodness they sent in a anti-nausea medication with the antibiotics. So just kind of what I've been rebounding from last Monday till this Monday, and I'm bullshitting with her, and I'm like, yeah, you know, this Balenciaga shit really has me pretty angry as a concerned citizen and person and a mother. And she was like, what Balenciaga thing? And I'm like, you didn't hear about the Balenciaga scandal? She's like, no, what happened? And I'm like, listen, so what I feel like is you got the front lines of the mental health racket, right? I said, I think that everybody that's coming here to see you guys, that you're looking at as if they are just some crazy mental patients, so I feel like these people are like at least 75% phased. These people are literally trying to have spiritual awakenings, and you guys are not understanding them, and using these medications to stop these spiritual awakenings got to be as ridiculous as these parents out here stopping natural puberty in their children because they choose to identify as a different gender, because there's no spiritual knowledge going on. These children and these monsters are feeding into it, and these parents are pushing their kids into it because there are sincerely some people going through a hard time remembering too much of past lives. Their masculine and feminine energies are so freaking imbalanced so fast. And nobody's understanding why. And nobody's understanding that you're born in this world. There's two genders. And you are literally what you are assigned at birth. And if that sucks for you, well, wait until you wake up. You realize how shitty this whole thing actually is. And I think that if you feel a little more masculine and you're in a woman's body, like a lot of Lyrans, like a lot of people, if you're feeling a little more feminine but you're stuck in a man's body, balance your freaking energy out and you'll feel better. It'll at least make it make sense. And I said, this Balenciaga stuff has not only the spiritual community in an uproar because it's a spiritual battle, it has not only the religious people in an uproar who will agree that it's a spiritual battle, it has everybody in between really alarmed. And you don't have any real opinions on this or that. You don't know what the hell's going on with Balenciaga. And I said, what the fuck do you do all day? like where is your attention being paid if you've not even heard of this? She's like, I don't know. I'm like, listen, what I think is going on here is I think that you got this collapsing system, right? You got a bunch of ultra blind therapists and doctors, or not, or they're spiritually awake and they're really terrible and they're really, really keeping people asleep. But I said, what I see is a bunch of you turning the biggest blind eyes I have ever witnessed because you don't want to look like your patients. You do not even want to admit, or you actually do not want to look around at all. Your heads are so buried in the sand because you don't want to look like a mental patient. You don't want to look like the people you're treating because your textbooks are telling you a bunch of bullshit. And those degrees have cost you a lot of money or a lot of pain in the ass work, and I understand that. I understand how upset everybody is going to be when all of these words fail them, when all of these texts of all kinds go club hooey right in your face. I understand that blows, but you can't imagine how bad it blows to be in this boat of people waking up and trying their hardest to function again in a world that is set up like this. It is deeply disturbing that you haven't heard of the Balenciaga shit. So I'm telling her about this. And I said, these people are literally watching movies, and long story short, it looks like these actors are being paid to act like us. And she was like, that's interesting. What do you mean? I said, well, hypothetically, if Star Wars was written about something called the Orion Wars or some galactic battle that actually happened a long, long time ago, and souls are eternal, and we're all just a bunch of eternal creatures living temporary human experiences, there are people getting diagnosed schizophrenic because they can't stop watching and quoting those movies, and they're literally getting sucked into them, and these scenes are playing in their heads and they're fucking with them. I said, but what if their reality went something like, the people that identify with that show, with that movie series, could have actually been the creatures who fought in that galactic battle. And she was like, what? I'm like, I don't know. Word on the streets. So I'm very new to this, but I'm also pretty intelligent. And I don't got all my facts right yet at all, because it is so mind-blowing. I said, but yeah, pretty sure a pretty heavy-hitting bipolar or schizophrenic criteria is when you feel like you've been a Viking. I said, do you know how many people had incarnations as Vikings? She was like, really? I'm like, yeah, definitely kind of looks that way. I said, when certain people get sucked into the movie Troy, or certain people get sucked into these movies, there are some cosmic implications. I said, do you know how people get paranoid that the government's watching them? She was like, yeah. I'm like, if the government's watching anything, they're watching your fucking Netflix account and your mental diagnosis status. I said, people are paranoid about this shit. I said, I don't got a VPN. I don't give a fuck what government or what entity is looking at what I'm looking at. I said, but yeah, I mean, it could be so stupid and so simple as they already, got our blood types. They already got a lot of people's DNA, and they already got a lot of people marked and being watched from the beginning. Said, yeah, it really looks like something so simple as this. If anybody's really getting watched, it's because of the shows and the movies you're watching on Hulu and Netflix and Amazon Prime and all these stupid freaking movies and shows. The box office needs dropped. Like, they are hot as hell because they're so corrupt. And nobody can figure out why pedophilia is overcoming Hollywood, and why women and men too are literally going into these blockbuster type businesses and selling their souls and getting trapped and getting blackmailed. Said, this shit is so wild to me. Said, if you don't want to look like a crazy person because you're not considering these things, I said, you're hurting the collective conscious, And she was like, actually, she's like, that actually makes me think of the show Manifest. Did you ever see that? I'm like, no, what's it about? And she's like, well, they talk about the collective unconscious. I said, yeah, that's true. I said, and guess what? You're part of the collective unconscious. I said, when people like me wake up, we become part of the collective consciousness. And we are alerted to the fact that not only is the spiritual battle real, we are in it. I said, what would happen if these extraterrestrials out here started making a bunch of freaking statues cry and started freaking people out and started projecting things into our skies, or just started straight up freaking War of the Worlding? What if you would just see some Independence Day shit? What would you do? Because I feel like while the collective unconscious is out here freaking the hell out real bad and really, really scared, I feel like instinctively everybody who is conscious would just mass meditate. Would literally just mass birds of a feather flock together and literally just turn into Care Bears. because we are all so on guard and so alert to what is going on. And the more the merrier. Everybody's part of it. Everybody. Just balls of energy. Mind-boggling. So, therapy went well. Could have been worse.